Representative Amo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here, Undersecretary. But I want to point out a fact. We're here today to talk about public diplomacy, but everything we've seen from the Trump administration has done just the opposite. Instead of leading with diplomacy, President Trump chose war with Iran. He attacked Iran in the middle of diplomatic negotiations with no imminent threat to the United States, no authorization from Congress, no clear justification for the attack, and, importantly, no plan for what comes next. Now, 6 American service members are dead. Americans in the region are stranded in dangerous conditions. Violence is spreading across the Middle East, and our embassies are sheltering in place. That's not diplomacy, that's recklessness. How are our diplomats supposed to do their jobs when they're sheltering in place or when the embassy is on fire from Iranian drone strikes? Trump's unconstitutional war with Iran isn't the only way he's sabotaging public diplomacy. Trump gutted Voice of America. He only reopened the Persian service in June 2025 because he was about to strike Iran for the first time. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter into the record this column from the Washington Post. Carrie Lake is making Trump's job harder in Iran. She has gutted America's ability to get good information to the Iranian people in a conflict.
It's ordered.
Look, he's fired expert staff. He's cut embassy programs, and he's withheld funding for international education and cultural exchange programs run by the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. From the Fulbright program to the International Visitor Leadership Program to the Sports Visitor Program, your bureau supports dozens of education and cultural exchange programs that have enjoyed decades of bipartisan support from Republicans and Democrats. Undersecretary Rogers, since the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs falls under your purview, you should know the answer to these easy, very easy yes or no questions. Do educational and cultural exchanges benefit American scholars who want the opportunity to study abroad?
So long as those programs
yes
are
or no?
Conducted in the
yes
American
or no?
interest, yes.
Thank you. Have these educational and cultural exchanges helped connect the U.S. with emerging world leaders? Yes or no?
Yes.
Have these educational and cultural exchanges strengthened our alliances and supported American national security?
Often.
Great. That's why these programs are some of the most effective and cost-efficient tools of public diplomacy that we have. They give Americans and students a chance to study abroad and make connections in a global economy. They give students the opportunity and funding needed to study abroad and provide our students with the skills they need to compete in the international economy. They help our students build relationships with future leaders around the world. In fact, the International Visitor Leadership Program alumni include more than 500 heads of state and government, over 1,000 members of parliament, and 12 Nobel laureates. So it's not charity. That's strategic investment in American leadership. But last year, the Office of Management and Budget sat on fiscal year 2025 funding for 22 of these programs until the very end of the year. Congress appropriated the funds. The funds were released to the State Department, but the Trump administration simply did not distribute it. So Undersecretary Rogers, if these programs are important, as you confirmed, to public diplomacy, and we have that agreement, why hasn't that funding reached these critical programs yet?
Thank you, Congressman. So I think a few things have happened. There have been slight top-line reductions in public diplomacy spending, including ECE, but it's been 8 to 10%. It's not been catastrophic, and with efficiencies we've reaped, we saved 180,000 man-hours last year alone through AI, media dashboards, I think, and with money we've gotten through interagency.
So when's the funding getting there?
I'm sorry?
When is the funding getting to those programs?
So my understanding is there were some interagency delays, but now these programs are back online or getting back online. So for example, our Young African Leaders Initiative, I think, is back online, and we'll have our first summit this summer.
All right.
That was an example
but
of one.
I'm going to follow up with you on that because I want to know when the money gets there because Congress appropriated it. So it's got to get to where it needs to be. And so what assurances, based on your agreement about these programs, can you give this committee that fiscal year 2026 funds will be distributed on time, not with delay, as directed by Congress, so these programs don't get disrupted again?
So congressional appropriations are the law, and I commit to follow the law.
Great. It's good to hear that from a Trump administration official. If this administration truly believes in public diplomacy, the funding and the flow of the funding has to follow the rhetoric that you've shared with me. And so with that, I yield back.